Welcome to Bob Riding's Indicator. We are this year's proud sponsor of the Herald and Review Preps. To all the players, coaches, and fans out there, we wish you a very successful season. Remember, for all your automotive needs, come see us at Bob Riding's Indicator across from Caterpillar.
Hi, this is Justin Conn. Welcome to Week 6 Preps Preview. I'm alongside sports editor Mike Albright. We're going to talk a little bit first about what happened last week. Mike, what happened at St. Teresa last week, last Friday?
It was fun. The week that was supposed to be dull turned out explosive all around the area. St. Teresa was the most fun. I tell you what, Shelbyville shot themselves in the foot a lot, or it could have been 78-60. It was wild. It was crazy. The ball was all over the place. People accused St. Teresa of maybe running up. You weren't there. You didn't see what was going on. They needed every score. Shelbyville was on their heels the whole game.
Obviously, St. Teresa's offense was impressive and put up a ton of yards, but the defense, is this something to be concerned about with St. Teresa as far as?
Oh, sure. Yeah, they're going to be concerned. The line was, I've seen them now 3 times this year. The line was a little more porous than it has been. The linebackers weren't quite coming up. The secondary, played okay. They got beat a few times deep, but they're going to have to play a lot better this week. As you know, the huge game.
Right. My what the heck happened is Sangamon Valley. They play Athens this week. I think that we thought that could be a pretty good game, and Athens blew them out. I think a big thing for right now for Sangamon Valley is, of course, they don't have Dan Rentschler, who, they have him, but he's not playing as effective as he should be. His ankle's sore. It's a little bit of a concern because is it going to get healthy? And that's something right now that they're really hoping it does. I think the more concerning part was our defense, though. I mean, you can't. That's the second week this year they've given up 40+ points in a game.
They've been a little tough to figure out this year from one week to the next.
Yeah, because they've had a couple games they played pretty well defensively. So I don't quite know what's going on with them. They'll have to get it right this week. Pleasant Plains is a 1-win team, but they're probably one of the better 1-win teams around. They've played everybody tough, so they need a healthy Rentschler and they need to play better defensively. This week is probably the biggest week of the year coming up.
We're looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is a lot of great games. What's the game you're most looking forward to out of the big ones this week?
That's we talked about that. That's a little tough to call. I like Tuscola at Central A&M. I've seen both teams this year, and both can go either way. Tuscola, I really like their defense. Quick. They're not big, but they're really quick, and they will put it to you. A&M is another one of these teams that's been a little bit up and down. Yeah. They can really move the ball sometimes. Sometimes they kind of get spinning their wheels. I think Tuscola will probably have to be the favorite, but at times Central A&M, if they play like they have at times, they could go in there and just waltz right past Tuscola if they aren't careful.
Yeah, they could, and their offense I thought looked real good against Argentina. Defensively, they struggled at times, but offensively, they move the ball real well, and it won't be that easy to do.
Tuscola is going to have to play a little bit better offense too. I mean, yeah. Philip Myers is a great quarterback, especially running the ball. Throwing the ball, he's going to have to find his receivers, and they're going to have to hang on to it. The running game is going to have to get a little bit more productive this week, so that could become a really good game.
The game I'm most looking forward to is St. Teresa at Tolono Unity. This has decided the Ocala Black, at least last year it did. I think it will again this year. St. Teresa, I would have almost said they were the favorite going in until last week, and just the way they played defensively. Tolono had the loss to Maroa, but has really looked good besides that game, and particularly since that game they've looked real good. I think it kind of comes down again to, in almost every game for St. Teresa at this point, comes down to, Shavonte Joyner. If he can put up numbers like he has been putting up in every game so far this season, they're going to score points, and Tolono's going to have a tough time keeping up with that.
He's going to have to be every bit of 100%. I think his ankle was still bothering him a little bit last week against Shelbyville. He's going to have to get his yardage and probably then some to have a chance against Tolono. If
Tolono can find a way to slow him down, St. Teresa is a little plodding offensively besides him. They can maybe grind out some drives, but it makes it a lot tougher. I think than Tolono, Taylor Black's our quarterback. There are times when he looks unbelievable passing the ball. There are times when he'll throw a ball where it's a beautiful thing, and then in the same game he'll go through a quarter where he can't hit a receiver, or his receivers are dropping balls. So I do think Toledo's gonna have to pass the ball. I think if they just, if they're one-dimensional, St. Teresa can be effective against that. But if they can throw the ball, St. Teresa's kind of shown that wasn't a strength maybe last week. So that would be a good for Toledo if they can throw the ball. A couple other games this week. There's 3 other real big ones. First, Greenville goes to Pana. Pana won both the games against Greenville last year, but right now Greenville's they're just blowing people out.
Throttling people.
Yeah, they're scoring a ton of points. I think they put up 70 against Alton Marquette, which is a team that really shut down Pana. So that's a little scary for the Panthers. Then Champaign Central goes to MacArthur. This is a big game as far as MacArthur's playoff hopes go, especially now with Urbana sort of looking like a team that may be, not sort of that doormat they've been. That if MacArthur wants to make the playoffs, they're probably going to have to win this game against Champaign
Central. Just
Central.
get 6 more turnovers, and they should be in good shape against Central.
Obviously, MacArthur is going to have to clean up some things that they're doing as far as penalties go. They had a real tough time with penalties on Saturday against Eisenhower. And the other big one is the 2 undefeated teams. Or I'm sorry, it's not undefeated teams. It's Robinson's undefeated, going to 4-1 Mount Zion. Robinson really hasn't played anybody yet. I think maybe this team is a little better than some of the past Robinson teams, but they've kind of went to Mount Zion or when they've played Mount Zion these last few years since Tim Nolan's went to Robinson, they've really sort of curled up in a ball and just
fallen a little flat.
Yeah.
But their scores this year, if you just look at scores, their offense has been a little bit sharper, it looks like. Their defense, except for the Salem game, which I can't explain that one, their defense has been real good so far. So maybe Tim's got these guys taking the next step. He's building this program. We'll find out a lot on this weekend.
Yep. This would be a great week to follow us on Twitter at HR Preps. We'll be having updates from all these games, so make sure you follow us, and we'll see you out there.